Welcome in to another edition of Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. Coming up on today's show, we'll get you caught up to speed on the latest Seattle Seahawks news and rumors, those involving a potential trade for Derrick Henry. Also, we have the results from Mike Tannebaum of ESPN's newest mock draft with some big surprises. We'll get to all of that and more coming up in just a few moments. Before we do, this week we are battling our division rival channel, the 49ers Report, and, of course, the Cowboys Report. Everybody hates the Cowboys, so it's easy to do battle with them and try to get wins in the postseason against those guys. So here's what we are going to do, folks, is that I need you to subscribe to the channel, not only just so you can be a part of our daily segments, our news and rumors, live shows on Wednesdays, breaking news and all that, which you should subscribe to anyway. But I want to beat our other channels, and we got some catching up to do. So stop whatever you're doing, hit that sub button, and we'll get started with today's show. Derrick Henry, could he be on his way to the Seattle Seahawks? CBS Sports has named Seattle as a logical landing spot for the Tennessee Titans running back. Interesting, right? And I know what you're thinking. Well, the Seahawks already have Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry to the mix as well. Could that work? Well, let's dive in and see what Cody Benjamin had to say from CBS Sports. Whenever he's on the field, Henry carries Tennessee's offense. To this day, no one matches his combo of size, 6'3", 245, speed and experience at the position. But he's topped 300 carries in 3 of the last 4 seasons, suffering a serious injury in between. In other words, the wear and tear is there. The Titans are in a rebuilding phase, or at least should be, and can save 6.3 by dealing the big man who's entering a contract year. Now, I'll say this, Derrick Henry is still great. He is still the best running back in the National Football League. He is well on his way to being a Hall of Famer, and I still think that he's got something left in him. But how much longer is that going to go, though? We don't know at this point. Is it another year? Is it another 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? There's still a lot that needs to be figured out as far as Derrick Henry's future goes that we just simply don't know at this point in time of what he has left. Now, to his credit, he is different than any other running back in the NFL. You could say that he's kind of the exception to the rule potentially, but eventually Father Time catches up with everybody. And we see that running back position tends to catch up quicker than any other position by far. More on Derrick Henry in just a second. Before we do, what do you think about the Seahawks? Logical, huh? You like the idea of trading for Derrick Henry? If you do, type Y for yes. If not, type in for no. Tell us in the comments section, should the Seahawks trade for Derrick Henry? If you think they should, type Y for yes, type in for no. You might get an ad break. If so, take advantage of it. Get your votes in. Y for yes, in for no, if you think the Seahawks should trade for Derrick Henry or not. The resume for Derrick Henry is pretty dang good. You're looking at a guy who's been the NFL Offensive Player of the Year as recently as 2020, was a first-team All-Pro selection that year, 3-time Pro Bowler back in 2019, 2020, and as recently as this past season in 2022. And one of the things that's unique about Derrick Henry in that 2019 and 2020 campaign, he led the NFL in both rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. These statistics of the past 4 years from Derrick Henry, look at this, folks. You go back to what he's done this past year, 1,500 yards, 13 touchdowns. Yards per carry has been down the last couple of years, 4.4 this past season, but still not bad by any means. Now, not the 2020 numbers when he rushed for 2,000 yards and had 17 touchdowns and 5.4 yards per carry, but you could already argue that he is kind of slowing down of some sorts already to this point. So that the decline is on, still good, but the decline is on. Now, here's another thing to think about with this situation as far as the Seahawks and Derrick Henry goes. The Titans are going to want a lot for Derrick Henry, okay? This is not your typical running back trade. I would think the Titans are going to want a first or second round pick, somewhere in that range, something high. And think about the Seahawks situation, right? You're looking for a secondary option to Kenneth Walker, where Kenneth Walker can take the load, and then your number 2 back could be a guy that comes in on third down, is a receiver out of the backfield of some sorts, the complementary piece. What the Seahawks are looking to do, you don't need a power back that's going to take, all 3 carries in a row like Derrick Henry brings to the table. That's just not where the Seahawks are at right now. Could they find a way to make Derrick Henry work? Probably so, but that's not necessarily the priority what they're looking for. I was talking to my buddy Jonathan Hutton, who covers the Titans for Outkick.com and Outkick 360, and I asked him about where the Titans are at as far as this Derrick Henry situation goes, and Hutton made a pretty interesting point when we were exchanging text messages earlier today. Henry doesn't count on the Titans cap after this season, so they may just run him into the ground and part ways next offseason at no cost if the return now isn't good. So, as Hutton's saying here, you could find yourselves in a situation where Tennessee has the leverage here, where they say, look, if we don't get an offer we like, we'll get the most we can out of Derrick Henry right now, and then move on from him after that. So, Seattle, do you want to give up a ransom for Derrick Henry who doesn't even necessarily fit what you're looking for? I'll say I'm kind of out on this right now. Could change, but at the moment, doesn't seem like a logical fit like Cody Benjamin from CBS Sports was trying to say earlier. We do know the Seahawks need a running back, though. So, name a running back the Seahawks should add this offseason in the comments section. Who comes to mind that you would like to see in a Seahawks uniform at running back in 2023? Give me one name that comes to mind. Tell me in the comments section below who you would like to see in Seattle next year of who would be a good fit, whether it's a rookie or a veteran, whether it's a trade, free agency. Tell me who you'd like to see playing for the Seahawks next year at running back besides just Kenneth Walker. Today's episode of Seahawks Today is sponsored by Fume. We all have bad habits, and we certainly know how hard it can be to kick those bad habits. Our sponsor, Fume, is on a mission to accelerate humanity's breakup from the bad habits that consume far too many of us. Fume is a natural diffusive device that uses plants and behavioral science to help you trade out your negative habit for a positive one. I didn't expect much out of Fume when I got it, but the minty sensation is really powerful and really hits the back of the throat. The Journey Pack comes with 3 unique flavors for you to enjoy: maple pepper, crisp mint, and white cranberry. Fume is not a vape. It's a non-electronic device designed to transform your negative habits. The easiest way to stop a bad habit is to switch to a positive one, and Fume is designed perfectly to do just that. Head to tryfume.com/chatsports. Use code chatsports to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com/chatsports and use code chatsports to save additional 10% off your order today. Tell them that Tyler Jones and Chat Sports sent you. You'll be glad you did. That's tryfum.com/chatsports. Mike Tannebaum of ESPN released a mock draft this morning, and Tannenbaum had an interesting approach. It was, if he were the GM of all 32 teams, who would he pick in the draft? And I got to tell you, Tannenbaum kind of outed himself of why he's not a GM anymore with the selections he made. Starting off with the Seahawks at 5, going with Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee at number 5 overall. Yes, you heard that right here. Let's dive into more what Tannenbaum had to say for his reasoning for this pick. Okay, this one might raise some eyebrows. You think? But hear me out. Okay, we'll give you a chance, Mike. I think Hooker is really underscouted right now, largely because he's coming off of the torn ACL in his left knee. I see a potential franchise quarterback and someone who can lead an offense. The Seahawks recently re-signed Geno Smith, but this is an excellent opportunity to draft and develop Hooker while also letting him rehab the knee. Smith turns 33 this season, and his new contract offers Seattle various outs over the next 3 seasons. Mike Tannebaum makes very good points with all of that there. Okay, I understand where he's coming from, but let's not just beat around the bush here. All those things might be true, but still taking Hendon Hooker at 5 is just ridiculous. It's insane. He's 25 years old. He's coming off a torn ACL. No. Okay, so there's that. But wait, there's more. Here's who Tannenbaum has the Seahawks taking at number 20. That would be Iowa defensive end Lukas Van Ness. Now, we've talked about Lukas Van Ness a decent amount on this show, but 20 overall is interesting. Let's see what Tannenbaum had to say about this. With outstanding physical traits at 6'5" and 272 pounds, he is a perfect defensive playmaker for Coach Pete Carroll and defensive coordinator Clint Hurt. I could see Van Ness lining up all over the place in Seattle's defense. Again, kind of like the Hendon Hooker thing. That could be true, but no one else, literally no one else is talking about the possibility of the Seahawks taking Hendon Hooker at 5 and Lukas Van Ness at 20. No one is putting this out there. Lukas Van Ness, to me, if he's around in the second round, remember the Seahawks have 2 second-round picks, we can have that discussion. But you took care of the defensive end position when you paid Draymond Jones all that money. All of a sudden, that's not a priority now. You obviously ought to look at your options and evaluate those things, but you have other needs to take care of. So, Tannenbaum, I see what he's thinking. Don't get me wrong. But the picks of where they're made, you talk about big reaches here. I mean, Hendon Hooker, some people say is a 4th or 5th round guy, and you got him going number 5? Count me skeptical, to say the least. Great Mike Tannebaum's Seahawks Mock Draft. What do you think? A, B, C, D, or F? It's a bizarre one. I can tell you that. There's a reason why Tannenbaum's not a GM anymore. Grade it for me in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F. Tell me on social media what you think. We had a big show today talking Derrick Henry, draft stuff. Share your thoughts with me. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, @Tyler Jones Live. You can find me there. I'll see you next time here on the channel. Thanks for joining us.